Good. So welcome to this first Zoom call on what we call open badges, which is this new tool for recognition that EFL has started using, in particular for the ECTP program. I guess you're all very familiar with what ECTP is. It's the European Citizenship Trimester program that we've been running since 2009. It's a very specific program with content on European and active citizenship. Here you can see, hopefully, my screen. Can you all see it? Yeah. You can see the agenda. The idea is that we do a presentation on open badges, what they are, and what is the ECTP badge system. Then we'll pass to an explanation how students can use the platform that issue the badges. I will walk you through a bit the online platform. We will discuss how, at the moment, we are presenting the badge system to students, but how we can do it better in the future and also integrate it in orientations and monthly reflections. And finally, I would like to discuss with you your questions and your reflections on using the open badges. So let's start. What are the open badges? This very strange name say something very simple, which is a digital credential. So it means that it's an image that behind has content that you can look at online. And inside this image, the information that is there is about the learning process, the achievement, and the competencies of the student, the person who got the badge. So the badge inside has the name of the badge, the description, the criteria on which it has issued, the organization who has issued it, the evidence, and the date of issuing. So just to give you a bit of an example of how a badge really looks like, I will now show you the actual, trying to do this from my computer. No. Yeah, here it is. This is how a badge looks like. It's here there's the image. For example, here the receiver is this participant from last year ECTP issued by the European Federation of Horticultural Learning. And this is the description of the badge and the criteria, the tasks that the participant had to do, and the evidence supplied, so what she has answered. So this is how practically it looks like. Going back to the presentation, you might want to know a bit more about open badges. This was created, this standard, in 2011 by the Mozilla Foundation. And open badges are more and more used by different stakeholders, by public authorities, universities, to certify learning. Because it's believed that a certificate doesn't provide enough information. Everyone has a very complex learning path, and it would be useful to go beyond names or that are written on a certificate and look actually at what people have learned and how. And digital technology allows now for this. Also, you might wonder, a person can collect badges from different badge platforms and then collect them all together in what is called the backpack. And I put here the link. You can basically create libraries of different badges you've earned in different contexts and give them a name. For example, if you earned a lot of badges linked to teamwork, then you can name them all teamwork and create a link, a web link with all the badges that you have on the content of teamwork. If you want to know more about badges in general, EFL has been part of this project called European Badge Alliance. Here is the website, and there you can find many, many information on all the world of badges. So that you can go a bit more deep. But I guess that what is interesting for us today is what does this mean for ECTP? And here you can see the ECTP badge system. So all the images with the name that contain tasks. And that can be claimed by the participants. You have here on the right the meta badges, so the big badges. Some of them contain sub badges, so that in order to get to the big badge, you need to do the tasks related to the sub badges. And we have 9 meta badges and 20 sub badges. You will be wondering what are these badges about? They're of course about the exchange program. They are linked, each of them, to the key competencies of the European Union. You might have heard about them. It's learning to learn, social and civic competence, and so on and so forth. But especially what is interesting for us, they're linked to the AFS goals, each of them. And also, each of them is linked to the phases of the exchange, for example, hosting or re-entry, and to the monthly reflections. An interesting point is that they can be claimed also after the program. So in the ideal case, students would, for example, claim them while they're on exchange, when they experience different experiences during their exchange. So for example, at the beginning, they would claim the badge of host school or host family, and only at the end they would claim the one of European active citizen. But we leave the possibility open to also just claim all of them when they've come back from the program, because of a matter of time that we know not all students find the time during the exchange. Another important part of the badge system is how it's managed. I can tell you how it's managed, has been managed so far in 2016 when we have piloted it. Students can claim a badge by providing evidence. So there is a task and they provide evidence that they've done this task. It can be a text, a video, or a picture. And they can also provide it in their own language, and then we use Google Translate. The evidence is validated by the project managers in the FL office. We have at least 2 people looking at every day who has submitted what. And you might wonder, how can we assess all this evidence? We don't assess it as teachers or assessors who do. We check whether the answers match the question, so whether it's coherent, but we don't evaluate, we don't give it a grade. If we don't accept the answer because we see that it's not coherent or the student has not understood the question, we can refuse it and then provide feedback directly through the platform so that they understand what they did wrong and they can do it again. What is also interesting is that a certificate is generated by EFL at the end of the program, which includes all the badges, and the student can access it online. And I can now show you how this looks like. Voila. This is how the certificate looks like. It has the name of the participant and the program, a bit of a description of what the ECTP is, the organization which has issued it. And here you can see there is a code, unique ID, that both students and, for example, their teachers can put it online on the Badgecraft platform, the platform that has issued the certificate, and see each badge, look at each badge and what were the tasks. And here you have all the list of the badges, for example, that has been earned by this participant with a small description. But as I told you, if the teacher or the student wants to look more into depth of what were the tasks linked to each badge, they can use this unique ID and go online and look at the certificate. And basically what they will see is what I have showed you here before. The badge with the tasks. Going back to the presentation, You might want to know a bit about this famous platform that issue badges. We use a platform which is called Badgecraft. There are many others. We use this one because it has been developed by young people that are used to work with in non-formal education. So basically what we do as AFS. It's therefore also they are very open to suggestions on how to develop the platforms, and very user-friendly. And linked to this, you might want to know that they are changing the graphic style and some functions of the website to make it always better. There is a mobile app available, meaning that while, for example, in the piloting last year, students had to log in online on a computer, and we know that this generation already is not used to work on a computer, but rather on their phone. With the fact that there is a mobile app, we believe that this claiming badges will be much more accessible. And also what the web developers are working on is, for example, the fact that as I told you at the moment, for how the system is developed, the technical system, it's only EFIL that can accept the evidence of the students, meaning the students cannot be divided, for example, in hosting or sending country, and there can only be the same project managers for all the students. But what we would like is that we can have different project managers for different students, so that in the future, for example, there could be the possibility for the staff in the different AFS offices, but also the support volunteers that support the students throughout the exchange, can actually access the profile of the volunteer, of the participant, and validate their evidence because they know them much better. And this feature is potentially coming up, not for this cycle, not for 2017, but for the future. Also, another feature that we will provide, it's a learning map. Basically, all the students will be able to choose the badges they want to display, and a learning map will be created automatically. So to represent visually their learning beyond the badges. And finally, they will also be able to choose the badges they want to, for example, display and create a PDF file accordingly, for example, to attach to their CV. I will now walk you through a bit the platform so you get familiar with it. So this is how the platform looks like. Here I have many projects. And this is the European Citizenship Trimester Program project of last year. So, for example, we have all the people. So here you can see all the students who have registered. And here you can see that, for example, under each student, the generation of the certificate. If you go into badges, for example, you can open one, and here is how the badge looks like to a participant. So there is the description, for example, a new me says that the participant has reflected on the learning from the exchange experience, and they can also write in their own language. And the task is describe in a short text how you've changed during the exchange experience. And for example, here we can see that 48 people have claimed this badge last year. For example, here as in this page, evidence, as EFIL, we would see if we receive any request for validating evidence. Here, if we would click under any person, for example, Alanis, who I've looked before, okay. So we can see Alanis has got 13 badges, and then under each badge, we can see what evidence she has submitted. And she can see the same. So this is visible to the manager and to the participant, and if the certificate is issued, the teacher or the other person who will see the certificate will be able to see the badge, but not the evidence supplied at the moment. For a matter of privacy, there will be a feature in the future where students can choose whether they want the text that they provided, the picture or the video, to be public or not. So this is basically the platform. I told you it will be looking a bit different because they're reworking on the design. What is interesting for Apple is that we can also develop reports. As you see, we can generate a report, and the report has all the information regarding our project. So how many participants, who claimed which badges, and so on and so forth, so that we can also have a bit of data we can work with. Do you have any questions at this point on how badges work and how this platform works?
No.
Okay, seems straightforward then.
I have one.
Yes, please.
Can we, in different countries, also have access to the Badgecraft platform?
Good question.
Our students.
That's exactly the feature I was talking about before that they're working now on, to be able to assign to different students. For example, for the students hosted in France and the students sent by AFS France, I could put you as a project manager so that you could access their data and see what's going on, if they're claiming badges and what they are writing. This could also be a very good tool for support, for example. But at the moment, this is not possible, because if you are a project manager of the project that we have online of ECTP, you can see the data of everyone. And this is a problem of privacy. And not only of privacy, it's also a problem of the fact that students are not listed by country, for example. So in order to look for your student, you would become a bit crazy looking through 200 names. This is exactly the kind of developments that we asked this Badgecraft platform to apply. So, and it's not only us, EFIL or AFS, who have asked for it. Of course, many other organizations that are using this platform have asked for it. So they are implementing them over this summer, autumn. So for us, we will be able to use them next year.
Okay. So for this year, we will not be able to see anything about our own
students. Yeah, what can happen, what we can do is, for example, let you know, as we did also last year, who has registered. So to let you know at least who is claiming badges, so that you can, for example, push the others. And at the end of the exchange in January, we can send also that's a summary of what are the students who engaged with the platform. But actually seeing everything that they submit at the moment is not possible. Any other questions? Okay, looks like it's fine. I will then pass to actually how to communicate about badges to the participants. So this is how we have done it so far at EFL, which doesn't mean that it's the perfect way, but that's what we could do in terms of resources, and also with the fact that we couldn't provide access to each of the AFS organizations to the platform, as I was just explaining to Isabel. So what are we doing? First of all, there is an explanation about the badges in the ECTP booklet for participants. The ECTP booklet for participants hopefully you all know it. We use it since at least 5 years. We send it to offices around April, and it's supposed to be given to participants either in electronic format or printed, depending on what the organization wishes, before departure. And it includes information on the specific program on the ECTP and information on the badges since this year. This supposedly is the first tool for participants to get to know about badges, and also it's supposed to be a tool for volunteers who provide this booklet to participants to explain them about badges before departure. Also, what we do is that as from between August and January, we, as EFL, communicate directly with the participants. We have the email addresses through Global Link, as from mid-August, we send them emails to motivate them about the program and explain them also what is the specific content about European citizenship. We engage them in some online contests and so on and so forth. And as part of these communications, since last year, we have also the promotion of badges. What does this mean is that, for example, we provide them at the beginning with some general information about what badges are, but also regularly, like every 3 weeks, we let them know which badges they could claim in that specific moment of the exchange. So, for example, also in the Badgecraft platform, it's not that all the badges are available at the same time. So, for example, a participant cannot claim a badge that is typical of re-entry at the beginning of the exchange. We block it. So we try to go a bit following the path of the exchange and promote the badges according to the time of the exchange. We also promote them at the ECTP Brussels camp, of course, and also during re-entry, we send an email usually in January with the videos that we made at the camp, with some outcomes, and also there we take the chance to promote the badges. In theory, hosting organization could use the badges during orientations and monthly reflections. And sending organizations could use them at the re-entry orientations. Especially, for example, we had the case of last year of AFS Belgium Flanders. What they asked to us was what badges their students had claimed linked to European active citizenship and what evidence they had provided. We sent this information to AFS Belgium Flanders, and they tried to use it during re-entry, so to make participants think back at, okay, what did they do at the ECTP Brussels camp, what commitment they had taken to do, for example, a local project, and so they could build on the information that participants had already provided with the badges. Also, what is key is that badges are not something on the top of the exchange. As I told you before, the idea is that they're linked to the AFS goals, they're linked to the monthly reflections, and therefore they should accompany what we already do as learning reflection with the participant. So here in this image, you can see what we have developed as the ECTP student learning journey from the one of AFS International for the year program. And you can see, of course, everything is a bit shortened because it's a 3 months, but we have always an arrival orientation. We have the monthly contacts for each of the 3 months. We have the post-arrival orientation, we have the end-of-stay orientation, and as an addition, we have the ECTP Brussels camp. And the idea is, okay, how can we match these badges to these different learning points? We, as EFL, tried to make a matching that we have already disseminated and shared with AFS offices last year. We looked at the learning focus areas of the monthly reflections, and we try to identify what badges are linked to which monthly reflection. So in the first month, students are asked to reflect particularly on the host country, host family, the home country, and we have badges specifically on these three elements: host country, host family, or host school, that then provide the badge called My New Country. Also, an interesting point is that, for example, if you, as a student, you go on the online platform, you open a badge, you want to do the tasks, you can also do a task. For example, if there are 3 tasks and the first task you feel like you can do now, but the second not yet, you can still do only one task and then finish the badge, for example, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and so on and so forth. So for example, there can be a badge that is not to be done all fully in the first month, in the first monthly reflection, but can be shared between the first and the second monthly reflection. In the second month, apart from going on with the reflections about host family, home country, host family and host school, there is also the element of conflict resolution, friendship, and communication, and we have several badges on these topics that are about reflecting on who they are as people. There is a badge that is called My New Me, that is linked to exactly these aspects of relationship and friendships and communication, problem solving, and so on and so forth. On the third month, there is the introduction, let's say, of this concept of a global European active citizenship that then will deliver them the badge European active citizen. It's about really reflecting more deeply on what is based on the difference between the home country and the host country, what is Europe, and how they can make a difference in society. And also, since it's a specific program, ECTP, that has the ECTP camp, we have a moment, a badge that is about closing the hosting experience and then being ready for the ECTP camp. And at the ECTP camp itself, we also have some specific badges on the ECTP Brussels camp that we promote specifically at the camp. And also, there's at the ECTP camp, we start talking about re-entry. So there's also badges linked to re-entry. And finally, there is a very specific badge that can be claimed after having done all the badges somehow linked to re-entry, which is called Ambassador, which is about being an ambassador of intercultural learning or being an ambassador of your host country in your home country. How can we do this in practice, apart from this division we've made based on the monthly reflections? What we are working on at EFL, and I've been announcing it also to some emails to the AFS offices so far, is a new ECTP manual for volunteers that includes handouts for monthly reflections linked to the badges. So what we will do is we take the monthly reflections as they're done by AFS International for the year program, and we change it slightly for the ECTP program. And put on the handout the badges linked to that monthly reflection. Also, we have discussed this with the program department of AFS International. We know there is a part of Global Link where there are monthly reports done by volunteers for the exchange student they are supporting, and that in this page volunteers can access actually the handouts for monthly reflections. What we are aiming is that this ECTP specific monthly reflection handouts will be available for volunteers on the portal that they use for making monthly reports on students, so that this information will be more easily available for volunteers, so that if they are supporting an ECTP student, they understand the specificities of the program, because obviously a trimester program is quite different from a year program, and you cannot do the same monthly reflections that you do for the year program. In terms of content, yes, but you have to squeeze them in 3 months or take some things out because the learning curve is just different. And plus in the ECTP, since it's not only a trimester, but it has also a specific content on European citizenship, there is also something more to add in terms of content. Yeah, so this is the presentation so far, and I would open it up to reflections. I already made some reflections that I would like to share with you, but I mean, the objective is to now spend these 20 minutes to hear from you what you think and what you would need to make badges work if you think they would be an interesting tool. In 2016, we had 138 students out of 248 who registered in the platform. So it's more than a half. And only 94 claimed at least one badge. So there was a dropout rate in a way, which is kind of normal. We also believe that 94 is a good outcome, considering also that basically the participants only receive the information from EFL, so via email. So it's as a first trial, it was not bad. Also, what we got from students as feedback is that they did not find the time to claim the badges during the exchange, as I was telling you a bit before. So this is why we kept it open, that they can earn them after the exchange. We recently had some students claiming them now in May, after the exchange just finished in December. Also for many students, it was hard to see the value of claiming badges, because the thing is that talking about CV curriculum to 15 or 18-year-olds is too early in general. So because they will not be looking for a job soon, but what is interesting for them is school performance and in case entering university. So badges have rather to be linked to school for them and to potentially university. So this is a matter of communication. And this comes the next slide, which, for example, is how can badges be used for school relations? This is a question I have. We've already discussed this, for example, with AFS Belgium Flanders, which have piloted very much badges last year, is that these certificates that participants receive, they can easily be a tool to show to school that it's not just a certificate they went on exchange, but actually an evidence that they've learned something very specific. Also, the question would be maybe, okay, if ECTP badges do not assess learning, because as I explained to you, we're not in the position to do it here in EFL office, but also if, for example, in one day you as staff in AFS offices or the volunteers can validate the evidence of the students you directly know, how much will you be able to assess really? I mean, the idea is that the questions, the tasks that are provided in each badge, they trigger reflection. So the idea is to support learning and to make the participant aware of what he or she is learning, but not giving grades or saying, okay, you have this level of intercultural competence. It's more to push them to reflect and to, at the end of the exchange, give them an evidence, okay, I went through this learning path. And yeah, the last question that here was the first is, what would EFL members need to promote badges? So now the floor is yours with questions and comments.
Yes, you said that the only communication the participants have is via EFL. Do some AFS countries integrate these ECTP booklets during orientations before? Because in France we didn't know, I didn't know about it, and so we have not told any participant about it up to now. So we are thinking of sending maybe a separate note in French explaining that they will receive the booklet of EFIL and all about the ECTP and the badges, because otherwise they might be very surprised because they have never heard about it.
Yeah, so I know for sure AFS Belgium Flanders have been using the booklet very much. I know that in many other countries this is shared, and maybe this is also a question for the others attending on how you're using the booklet and if you're sharing with participants and how. Let's see. We have Matilda from Poland, Ilenia and Elena from Italy. Maybe they can tell their experience. Diana from Hungary. Anyone wanting to take the floor?
And do we have to tell only our sending participant, or can we also talk about booklets and badges to incoming participants?
So you can also do it with hosted participant, especially the information about the badges. Because, for example, if you're organizing an on-arrival orientation or a post-arrival orientation, you might find it as an interesting tool to provide to the students the information. Now we did this activity about reflecting on your relation with the host family. Remember, you can claim a badge to certify the learning you had by making this reflection. So, I mean, I know volunteers and trainers are very creative in the ways they can engage participants. And the idea is that they can just attach badges to the reflections they already do with them at orientations. So I would encourage you to meet with the trainers and the volunteers and see with them, okay, what are the activities you do at on arrival and post arrival, and how do these badges match? I've sent you yesterday to everyone this overview of all the badges with the tasks, so that these can be really useful for trainers to look at and see how they exactly match with the activities they do.
I have a question for Elena in Italy, because I know we have French going to Italy. Do you use it in Italy?
Well, hi, Isabel.
Hi.
I can give you my I can share my experience as far as it concerns the sending process. So both Ilenia and I are working in a sending office. So I'm sorry, I cannot really answer your question because I have no idea how it works for the hosting. We're both, Elena and I, are following this meeting because we're gonna be at the pre-departure orientation in Rome. So we are for the trimester program students. And so we wanted to, have to be more conscious of the system and everything. So yeah, we will try to probably I don't know, bring some information to students directly when we are gonna meet them. But we haven't decided yet how to, make a, I don't know, a session for them and everything. So we're just, at the first stage of this process, still learning.
Can I have a question?
Yes, please, Teresa.
Because Elena, you make the pre-departure orientations, especially for the trimester program.
it's quite by chance. I mean, it happens. I mean, I did it last year actually, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the same this year. But yeah, a member of the staff is attending every big pre-departure orientation. So it happens that it's me and Elena this year for trimester programs.
Okay, so you separate trimester program students from the pre-departure of the others, or
Sorry?
you make a different pre-departure for the ECTP students?
Well, that's according to the structure we have for every pre-departure orientation, we usually have at least a couple of hours to spend with students. So after they say goodbye to their parents, then we collect all the students, we gather them, and we divide them in groups to work with them. So if there is a group of trimester programs, well, at least last year we did so, and we'll probably repeat the same structure. We do some special, let's say, special orientation, pre-departure orientation for them, but it's just a couple of hours. So of course it cannot be like a very complete package of information, but we try to, you know, focus more on the program they're about to start.
Okay, thank you.
But you're welcome.
How many ECTP students do you have in Italy?
They have 90.
19.
Yeah.
90. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to also comment on this. I think the way ECTP orientations are organized by the different countries very much depends on the numbers of sending, of hosting, and also of geography of a country. So, I mean, for example, Russia will do it very differently than Belgium, for example, because of a matter of distances. There might be countries that are sending very few participants on ECTP, but are hosting a lot. So they can potentially do a separate hosting orientation. So it really much depends on numbers, I would say.
And does exist some special training for volunteers?
For ECTP?
Yes.
We did one in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
With this idea also, that's in this training that we developed the specific objectives for ECTP, and also the objectives for example, the host families, and some specific materials for ECTP were developed in 2013. Then at a European level, we are not organizing any training for let's say for volunteers that are supporting ECTP students specifically. What we do though is every year we have the ECTP camp, right? And we recruit some 50 volunteers to support the camp. And what we always say is that this is the best way to, let's say, make a volunteer really understand what ECTP is, and then use their knowledge back in the home country to train participants that are enrolled in ECTP, either in sending or hosting. So this is our experience, that if you live the camp and see all the students and are exposed to the content of active and European citizenship as a volunteer at the camp, you can really transmit this back if you are a trainer in your own country. So I would really encourage to send volunteers to the ECTP. We also have a lot of requests, and every year it's really hard to make a selection, but we always try to get at least one for each country taking part in ECTP, exactly for this reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can choose some volunteer and send it to ECTP camp.
Exactly. We have the call out in mid-July with deadline beginning of September. The ODCs in your offices will get it. So talk to your colleagues and try to identify who to send also in a strategic way so that you can use this person also for the orientations at national level.
Sorry, I didn't hear when.
So mid-July we send the call out, and with deadline beginning of September.
Okay.
And also, yeah, please, Isabel.
When is the camp this year?
The camp is from the 3rd to the 7th of December. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, from Sunday to Thursday, exactly. There is also another element of training, actually, is that all the volunteers at the ECTP camp, they follow an optional online training on European and active citizenship. And there has been requests last year to open this up to any volunteer in the AFS network. We are still looking at how we can do it. The upcoming weekend, we have the preparatory meeting of the ECTP team, and we'll look into it. Of course, you know, as with online courses, the big time-consuming effort for the ones who manage it is giving feedback. So if we are providing an online course that doesn't require feedback, this is feasible. But if, for example, we are required as the field office to provide feedback to 100 assignments, this is not really feasible. So we will look into having maybe some materials online that can allow for a better and faster learning of volunteers for national.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say, Lina. I was wondering if you know about any university in Europe, I mean in the European Union, that recognize this badge system as I don't know, as a plus or something that helps students to get in, or an easy access or whatever.
I was talking at the beginning about this project that EFIL has been part of, European Badge Alliance. One of the partners was an Italian university, the Polytechnic of Milan. They are using badges very much. So this is just one example of that I can talk very directly about. In general, universities are now open to this concept. The key is always as the student presents it. So, for example, if the student presents the certificate of the ECTP with the badges, it might be okay, but I mean, something even more innovative, I believe, would be to, for example, have this learning map I was talking about before, so that you can actually choose what you want to showcase. It's always the key when looking either for a university placement or for a job, to tailor the application. So to show exactly the competencies that that university asks for, so that in this you can choose the badges that are really related to the requirements of the university, and create your learning map and attach it as an attachment to the application. I mean, in general, what we hear as feedback from employers here at European Union level is that what is important is that students are aware and they can present their competencies, and that the way they do it is tailored to the job or university placement they are asking. So they are not providing a huge amount of information, of which much is not of interest for the university or the employer, but that they tailor the explanation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? We still have 5 minutes.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Just listening to these, I'm focusing on the badge system and the usefulness of the badges. And I believe what could help for the students to use it and to see the benefit of it is that sharing some ideas or even concrete experiences, how they can use it. it could be out of those 94 students who actually claimed at least one badge from this cycle, to have maybe some statements from them, or why they claimed it, what was it useful for, and going forward, maybe including that in this year's ECTP camp, to see who's are those students who actually using it more actively, and asking them why they're doing it. So peers telling to peers the usefulness and the benefit of working with the badges.
Thanks, Diana. I mean, actually at the ECTP camp last year, we did some activities in the plenaries linked to badges. We had a video explaining them a bit, but also we asked students, okay, who is using them? How many of you got 5 badges? And then we asked some of them why. Of course, sometimes they're also a bit shy and so on. But I mean, we try a bit with this peer pressure, like, or this peer convincing, and we try to use it more. And we will look into maybe asking, we have one participant, actually only one, who got all the badges, and he's from Flanders, and we're gonna probably ask him to do some presentation of why he did it and how this contributed to his learning, or whether he then used the certificate somewhere. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Do you, as coordinators in the Center of Hosting, what are the tools that you would need from EFO to communicate this better? Is the information that has been provided enough, too long? You would like it in a different way?
To tell you the truth, I cannot really give you, you know, a well-prepared feedback on that. I am familiar with the badges. I like how you built it up, linking it to the experience, to the educational goals, to the monthly contacts. But it is still rather new to the volunteers. You know, how to conduct the monthly contacts with this new ICL content, plus adding the badge system. You know, it can be a bit overwhelming for some. So what has been useful is what you send to Teresa, that having volunteers at the ECTP camp really experiencing firsthand what the students do, how they can work with either the center or the hosted students in their countries. So what we are doing now with this year is have a more conscious approach to the ECTP students, definitely focusing on the badge system as well, so they have all the relevant information needed, and then we will try to evaluate it this year, and then have a better look at where we stand, what our volunteers need, and then we can reflect on it and then share it with you, so we can improve this together.
Thanks, Diana. And exactly, we know that monthly reflections are new for everyone. And the idea of badges was also to gamify, as we say, a bit potentially monthly reflections, so that it's not an add-on, but it's a way, okay, you do the monthly reflection and you also get a reward, a badge for it. We actually, something about training that I forgot to tell you about is that next year in April, EFL is planning to organize a training on monthly reflection. And also badges linked to it for the ECTP. We still don't know if the project is approved, but it's in our training calendar. So also consider that strategically who to send if you want to send.
That sounds
Is
nice.
that for volunteer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Any last questions before we close?
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, please.
If you can hear me. You've already mentioned that in the past there was a training for ECTP programs, I mean for volunteers, and that there are some materials. Would it be possible to share them maybe?
Yes. So what I can do as a follow-up of this call, I can send the report of the training we had in 2013. We also have what we call the manual for ECTP ECTP manual for volunteers that has basically many of the outcomes of the training of 2013. Now this is under revision, so I can send the one of last year, but there will be soon the new version with the monthly reflections for ECTP, of which I was talking before. If we will open up the online course on ECTP for all volunteers in the network, you will most probably know it from the ODCs. Because the idea is, I mean, we send this information to the ODCs and TLPs, who are the training liaison persons, that are then sending this out to the volunteer network.
Sure.
Okay. Good. So I think we can close. You can always contact me at my email address for any questions. If you are designing orientations, if you have questions on badges, if you all of a sudden come up with an idea of how can EFL communicate better about it, please drop me an email. And we'll be in touch. By the end of July, you will receive more. Okay?
Okay.
So thanks again, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye to
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.